North Korean leader Kim Jong-un could be traveling to Russia soon to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. That's according to a U.S. official who expects the meeting to happen next month. Russia is trying to get more equipment for its war against Ukraine, and Russia's defense minister said the two countries may also hold joint war games. North Korea has made public comments saying that it wouldn't give or sell arms to Russia. The U.S. is urging the regime to stand by those statements. For more, let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff and NewsNation Senior National Security Contributor. General Newton, thank you so much for being here with me this morning.
Good morning, Nick.
General Newton, I know you've been watching these developments play out as well. What do you make of the reports that Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un may actually have a meeting and discuss ammunition and training?
Well, it certainly doesn't surprise me. Kim's first meeting with Russia was actually back in 2019. They met in Vladivostok. But now that we're 19 months into the war between Ukraine and Russia, it's become a war of attrition, as you and I have discussed many times. Russia, I think, is literally running out of ammunition. They're seeking some support and some ammunition, some rockets and so forth from the likes of North Korea. And I believe Kim could deliver what he's seeking, at least my sources tell me, could be technology dealing with satellite capabilities as well as nuclear-powered submarines and so forth. So there's going to be some give and take here. I understand that they may indeed meet in Vladivostok again next week at the Eastern Economic Forum. So stand by for that, but that's what I understand.
General Newton, there are also reports that Russia and North Korea could hold joint war games. Do you see this simply as saber rattling or something that the U.S. should seriously be concerned about?
No, I don't see it as saber rattling. I think it could turn out to be something that I'm sure the Pentagon is worried about. The fact that you've got these two pariah nations holding joint military exercises on the heels of what you and I have talked about earlier this week regarding the U.S. South Korea exercises. It is very concerning. It also expands the footprint of military operations and exercises between Russia and Korea, North Korea in this case, that we haven't seen before. And so that could be significant. It's just something we've got to pay very close attention to.
General Newton, I want to change gears a bit here. We're also seeing reports that Chinese nationals have been able to access military bases, and it may have happened as many as 100 times in the last few years, sometimes posing as tourists or accidentally trying to test the security of different facilities. What is your reaction, and what do you think is the motivation behind this?
Well, I'll tell you, this is very concerning. As you mentioned, there were up to 100, it could have been even more, attempts for Chinese nationals to try to penetrate some of our military installations. I was commander of a major installation, and I was always very concerned about what was happening on my base, but certainly outside of my base. And one of them would have been a top of my list was being surveilled by foreign nationals and those who want to, frankly, threaten and try to gather some intelligence information and so forth. And so this report that Chinese even posed as tourists, it's very low level, Nick, in terms of their attempts to penetrate these installations. But nonetheless, it's becoming consistent with the Chinese model of trying to infiltrate the United States and trying to not only garner some low level intelligence, but perhaps test our security measures and so forth. If you recall, earlier this year in February, the debacle, if you will, my term, on that Chinese spy balloon that came over the United States. Now we're seeing a trend of these low-level penetrations on our U.S. installations.
And even though we see these reports, General Newton, you and I both know that you can go to Fort Bragg, you may get on that base, but you're not getting into any of these facilities, and you're definitely not recovering any information. But what you're saying is that even though these gate crashers may be able to get through, there is still a threat.
There is, and the threat could be they could be taking pictures, they could be, talking to U.S. Military men and women. We have up to about 10,000 what they call controlled turnarounds. It's a security protection measure at major installations happened this year, where the vast majority of these, Nick, are really people just lost or just not confused in terms of where they are in terms of approaching a military installation. But several of these have turned out to be Chinese citizens and Chinese nationalists posing as tourists, trying to penetrate. So it confounds our security forces. It's something that needs to be reckoned with, and I know the Pentagon and other federal installations have their eye on this, and especially the FBI.
And we'll continue to beef up security protocol if necessary. Lieutenant General Richard Newton, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.